Better luck next time indeed. Let's take a look over at Honoris versus Crimson, which is our next match of the day. It'll be Honoris has two guilds, Honoris 1 and 2. Honoris 1 believes they're second strongest in their alliance overall. I'm not sure who they feel the strongest guild necessarily is. They think that they're fourth strongest on their server. No Sieges won. Their prediction for the tournament is last place. So don't worry. We handled that. Well, we handled that already. You're not last. You can't be last. You're good. Our guild has existed since 2004. They've played together in World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, Giga Chads, by the way, New World, and Lost Ark. Because who would play BDO? That game clearly sucks too much. Anyway, I'll let you introduce Crimson.
You know what? Again, I just want to make a quick comment. You cannot be last place because Failure already disbanded. They're facing off against Crimson, which
God. No, stop.
Which is against Crimson from the server Fortune, and they're allied with Berserkers, Wars Ending, and Birdbrain. They're also second strongest in their alliance. The overall strength, surprisingly, is 5th. Sieges 1-0. Prediction is top 20. We might lose, but we here, boys. That's the attitude we like to see.
That's right. And honestly, both of these guilds not expecting to go very far in the tournament overall. And just here, honestly, I love these kind of guilds because they show up and they're like, you know what? We might not win, but this is a really cool event and we want to be a part of it. This is what makes large scale PvP so cool. And hopefully this is going to be a really close match for us. Do you want to cover pick ban for us as we move into our versus screen for this lobby?
Yes, Honoris won and they chose to pick. Crimson banned. They banned Adentis, Grand Elon, Kovazan, and Chernobog.
No way. Again, right now, there's no shot.
Yeah, chat, can we guess which map we're going to? Guess which map was picked.
Bro,
any guessers? Any guessers?
Bro, EU have an agreement to only play on Azrael. This is ridiculous.
I can't believe it. I think for the next tournament, we might have to ban Azrael or something.
No, I would never do that. It's a pretty close map, and honestly, it's a map that everybody's familiar with. Everybody understands this map, but EU too afraid to try any map other than Azrael in the first round, which again, to their credit, they're the only of the 3 tournaments. NA has so many players, it's divided up between NA East and NA West. So NA actually has more players than EU does overall, if you look at tournament entries, which is odd because EU actually has a much higher population of players than North America does. But regardless, NA has more players overall, but EU is all clumped together on the same server. Because EU is all clumped together on the same server, their tournament is the largest in terms of overall signups. We have about 50 or so guilds signed up for the EU tournament here, and so they could not be double elimination, so they want to be really safe in the first round of the tournament because it is single elim on this one. It does look like there are 2 Cordy crossbows on both teams here, and it looks like it's
do you say the names of the crossbows, please?
I'll let you say it. I'll let you say it.
I'll let you say it.
Scadian and Daddy from Honoris, and okay, and Hatsu and Martin Newbie for Crimson over there. So very exciting to see them. Those are the names to be looking out for. It looks like Crimson is going to be yellow, and it looks like Honoris is going to be red as we move over to our live scene on Azrael here. It does look like both guilds are waiting to spawn in. Nope. They're on the Riftstone already. Crimson in the yellow, Honoris in the red, as I said before. Honoris posturing outside. Look at those EU tornadoes coming out, Spid. Did you see that? I saw it. EU on bottom, NA on top, as usual.
There's no way I just saw tornadoes.
Yes, you did.
You know what? I think Honoris will win because Crimson used tornadoes.
Again, tornado is not a bad skill.
Okay. If you want to win points here, just vote Honoris, chat.
Tornado is not a bad skill, but because of how the metagame currently works, typically competitive guilds do not run a whole lot of tornadoes in their composition for reasons we've kind of explained before. It interrupts a lot of the damage on your guild. There's another tornado. It does an exceptional job of trying to keep people in choke points, though, and again, that's what tornado is good for, and that's what you're seeing Crimson do right now. Is Crimson actually on top of controlling this choke here? And again, look at them being knocked up by these tornadoes very consistently here. that is what Tornado is good for. It's still a very, very good skill. It's not very common in the current metagame because, you know, players have their preferences on it, but you actually see Crimson using it to good effect here.
Yeah, I mean, you see tornadoes actually coming from both sides. Using it in chokes could be really good, but again, if you throw people up in a tornado, right, you cannot get your combo off. It usually messes up a lot of DPS's, combo. So that's the main thing for reason that people don't run tornadoes. But overall, we see it's going to be a close fight, I think, here. They're both equal, I think, in power. And overall, both the teams are trickling in, trying to get control, but we still have 2.5 minutes left before the point opens.
Yeah, neither guild really holding full control. Currently, Honoris is the controlling guild on the Rift itself, but just off screen, you see Crimson on that left side. Some pulls going in to try to pull people off the edge, forcing them to run all the way back around, but just not enough right there to try to pull those players off quite yet here. Shadow doing a good job on the bottom side of the screen as well. Maw trying to dive in. Both guilds doing a pretty solid job of just basically hanging around the point, waiting here. Big kill feed on the side of Honoris, as again, they hold control of the point for a reason. People constantly being knocked into the air. It looks like almost every single bow user in this lobby is using Tornado in this matchup, interestingly enough. So clearly EU thinks that Tornado seems to be better in the current metagame than NA does, because on NA, again, we shun people for using this skill in a lot of cases. But again, I'll say Tornado, if you look at it objectively as a skill, is still a phenomenal skill. It's still really good. It's just that it has its downsides in the current metagame.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Honoris or Crimson might be an A guild, so probably that's why they're using tornadoes. You know, the meta there is different for sure. But as right now, there's a big fight happening in the choke right now, and
look
it
at the
seems
copium coming out for Spit here is crazy. You huff that copium.
I mean, sure. I mean, tornado, great skill, NA, good job. But overall, we see right now 1 minute left till the point opens. A lot of things can happen, but overall, I do think Crimson has the better pressure here.
Yeah, but Crimson with a big kill feed right there, and Honoris getting basically fully wiped off with 55 seconds left on the clock. Let's take a look at the leaderboards to see how things are actually going on this one. Let's see, damage dealt overall 897k for Noams from Birdbrained right there. I'm not sure which alliance that actually is on that, because again, the alliance has changed up right before, so maybe chat can clue us in right there. Only 11 kills from Picnic right here, so not too many kills in the lobby too far yet. Damage taken, Honoris on top, Crimson coming in number 2 on damage dealt there, but they're 2, 3, 4 instead of being number 1 there. Amount healed, looks like Honoris is on top of the healing, and that's why Honoris has control of the point currently.
Yeah, I mean, Birdbrain is with Crimson, just to make that clear. And right now, it's really a back and forth. Sometimes Honoris comes in and wipes all of the players from Crimson, and then Crimson comes in and wipes all the players from Honoris. So I think we're going to get a really good match. The point is open, but nobody's going for it, question mark. Hopefully somebody goes for it soon so that we can get a capture going.
Oh my god, Honoris has forgotten to cap the point. Okay, there we go. They finally have remembered. This is definitely a mistake. They are definitely behind on this. This match is close enough that they want to get contribution on this as quickly as possible. 33 people now on the point for Honoris with only 14 on the side of Crimson. Crimson doing their best to try to pile onto the point. Kaiso going for the cap in the bottom right of your screen right there. He does get it off. Big failure on the side of Honoris. Again, the front line for Honoris really doing a poor job right there, forgetting to cap the point and then not even trying to stop Crimson from capping it on their side when they stepped up. So the front line from Honoris really not doing their job here, Spid.
Yeah, I mean, Honoris is struggling with the front line, but again, they're trying. Crimson is trying their best to come inside. I think they're doing a really good job by trying. I really like that people don't go straight in when they spawn. They try to go around to get as much coverage as possible. So overall, I do think Crimson is doing a job strategy-wise, but overall, Honoris has a stronger players, I think. But again, a lot of back and forth. We see Crimson coming in, wiping everybody, and then we see Honoris coming in, wiping everybody. Very different from our last game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not very different from our last game. Look how close it is now that both guilds are starting to pile on here. Honoris diving onto the point, but it's Crimson on top right now. They finally have their cap enabled, 9% to 60. We'll see how much that changes at 18 minutes and 15 seconds. We'll check back in a minute to see how much that actually has changed. But again, it looks like Crimson just really struggling to keep people on the point as they keep getting pulled off repetitively over and over and over again here. Some people spawning in from the top spawn here, interestingly enough, kind of hard grieving their guild. Everyone should be running in from the low ground right now. Demi Mole in the middle of everyone, staying in the middle of everyone as well. Let's take a look at the top DPS of the lobby. Noam's Hatsu thinks Meow. Chat, which alliance is Birdbrained actually in? I don't think anybody actually knows which side Birdbrain is on, because they didn't update their alliance sheet before the match actually started. I'm sure that my tournament directors might know, but we're not actually sure. They're on Crimson. Okay, so Crimson top of the damage leaderboard right there for Birdbrain, leading the leaderboards, but sadly Crimson not on top of capping the lobby. Just like we saw last match, it doesn't matter if you're the highest DPS in the lobby if your guild is not coordinating well enough with one another.
Yeah, I mean, Crimson is doing a good job at keeping players busy. You see a lot of players from Honoris struggling to come inside because they're busy with 3 players for some reason. So overall, they can do a much better job if you're an Honoris player to go inside and make sure you're helping your team. They do almost have the cap, so definitely might be working. But again, Crimson definitely needs to put more pressure. They have way too many players outside of here, not going on the point, and we see so many times, sometimes it's just those 5-6 players that's all you need to actually win the point.
Yeah, we saw Mander Newbie try to run onto the point right there, but again, that's one of the Cordy crossbows on the side of Crimson, and with nobody to help him, just basically diving onto the point by himself solo there at like 1% HP, and that has been the name of the game for Crimson so far, is their lack of communication, lack of coordination with one another. Just like we saw Dream in the last lobby, they have some phenomenal players that are able to out DPS their opponent, but you can see, look at the grouping for Honoris here. They just look stronger as a guild. They're forcing Crimson to basically dance the outside of the point here, as Honoris has capped the point and are currently winning this lobby right now. Crimson has to step forward. Once again, their front line needs to actually try to cap right now. Now, let's see if Honoris's front line can go ahead and stop that cap from coming down here, as again, we saw them really drop the ball last time. They just got the cap off right away last time. This time, it does look like the front line of Crimson is having a much harder time getting through.
Yeah, I mean, the main problem Crimson is having is regrouping properly. They had a massive wipe, and right now they're pretty split. You see a lot of people coming in from the respawn point right now, so if they can get a good flank here on Honoris, I think they can wipe them. But it's so important to get the cap off, and I think they're gonna get it. Yes, they did get the cap off, and now it's so important to get the feet on the ground right now when they have the advantage. We see many players from Crimson running inside, so hopefully they can get inside on top of the point and then get good control.
Yeah, we saw Honoris with a big static wrapping around the outside here. Narulian on the backside of the fight. This is the healer for this static party. He's right next to all of his party members here, trying to make sure everybody stays healthy. Oh no, he lost one of them over the side of the edge right now. That cap did go off on the side of Crimson. So again, the Honoris frontline doing a very poor job in this lobby so far. The tanks for Crimson certainly showing up in a much stronger way here. And again, Crimson's DPS is certainly there. They have stronger players, but overall, Honoris as a squad is just far and away outperforming Crimson in this match, despite the fact that their DPS might not have been up to snuff early on in the match. Let's recheck it. Yep, they are still dominating the leaderboards in overall DPS. You see a wand dagger from Bife right there as well, and one shot Fixie on again that bow crossbow from Fixby. You do not see that very often. Interesting EU metagame we have going on here.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's very similar, like you said, to the last game that we had. It's again, you have Omen, who was much better strategically, just like Honoris is, and then you have Dream, which is basically doing the same thing as Crimson is doing, right? They have, again, dominating the leaderboards mainly, but struggling to get enough players inside, struggling to use the right strategy, struggling with positioning, and Honoris is just doing overall a good job.
Yeah, and honestly, finally, Crimson's starting to group up on one side of the point, trying to get something going, but Honoris's statics are just working stronger together. Again, you look at the defeats, it's Crimson again. And the heals, though, heals are more in Honoris's favor, and this is why I'm saying you can have the highest damage dealt, you can have the highest defeats, but if your healers are losing out, you're probably just going to lose, because healers are the most important people. Your DPS are worth nothing. Your DPS can take so much more damage. Your tanks can take so much more punishment if your healers are standing in good position. And right now, Honoris is just being hard carried by its heal squads.
Yeah, right now watching Tixie Meow, the bow crossbow player, and this guy is not dying. Wait, oh, never mind. The streamer curse, he just got shut down.
There he goes.
Overall, again, Honoris just has better positioning. They have good control, and they're pushing them out. The main problem I see coming from Crimson is when they do get control, there's nobody watching the choke. Honoris just literally came running for free. So I hope to see a little, maybe a few players try to spawn camp or try to hold the choke a little bit to help them out. But right now, it just, again, running in like a headless chicken is not going to get you far.
Yeah, no, it is not. They lose control of the camp again with 12 minutes left on the clock. I do think that Crimson could come back and win this. They certainly have the DPS on the leaderboards to make something happen, but they've got the DPS, they've got the kills, they've got everything, but they're just still losing. At the end of the day, they just can't make the win happen, because again, it's about your coordination as a static group. Nobody cares if you're the highest DPS in the lobby and you lose. Nobody cares if you're the highest kills in the lobby and you lose. That's just the way that it goes. And Honoris knows it. They're certainly playing together as a group right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, dominating leaderboards. That's why I really like war games and Riftstone games, because even if you're dominating, it's all about strategy. It's all about how you're playing with your team. And overall, Honoris is, you can see, more experience, better IGL. Statics are playing better together. They're coming from the right respawn point. They're making sure that they're, boxing them out. And again, no adapting. Crimson is not adapting to what's happening. They're trying the same strategy over and over again, trying to run in, not trying to fight different statics, not trying to target it correctly, and it's just overall not gonna lead them to the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, we have another. Can you go check the spawn camping situation, see if anybody's spawn camping out there for us? Would be super sick to know if that is going on right now as the battle rages on the Riftstone. We're going to tick down to the 10.5-minute mark here now. And again, there isn't even a cap initiated on the side of Crimson right now, as there's too much chaos for their front line to actually get through right now. But again, Honor is standing tall, doing their best. It looks like there's actually more Crimson members on the point right now than there are Honoris members. We're going to find out here in a second. Venlo's going to get a cap off, and that is not the case now, as Honoris actually has 33 people standing tall on the point. I stand corrected. A lot more red on that feed, and down goes the Crimson contribution one more time, Spid.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that Crimson cannot make anything happen here. They're doing a really good job sometimes trying to spawn camp, trying to punish these players coming back, but overall they're just lacking numbers inside. I do think that Crimson has really strong players, but at the same time they probably have really weak players too. So it's like a really bad balance inside the team, and they're not doing the right strategy. Honoris, I think, might be a more balanced team. Like all of them are really good or strong, while Crimson might not have that.
Yeah, absolutely. Daisu doing his best right now. This is the reason that Honoris is on top. They are not winning on any leaderboards with the exception of healers right now. Daisu is the reason. Daisu and the remaining healers are the reason that these guys are on top. This is the strongest healer in the lobby right now, and you can see just how safe he is playing. He's standing right in the middle of everyone, making sure everyone is always healed up. Look at all those healing circles on the ground. And again, they can take so much more punishment like this. If your healers are just this good, there's another healing circle coming down. He's constantly using that nature's blessing over and over and over again to make sure that that is constantly stacking on his allies. A cap does manage to go off on behalf of Crimson right now, and they do have slightly more people on the point for the first time in the match now. Again, this is supposed to be a much closer match, but sadly Crimson just doesn't have the coordination.
Yeah, I mean, the fight outside the choke has been going on for a long time, like 3-4 minutes now. And the second I see that they get a cap off, all the Honoris members are really good at just going inside the point. They fight outside like they're supposed to do. The second the cap is on, they make sure to put the boots on the ground. Right now, you can see Crimson has more players, but like the Honoris members are just so coordinated. They make sure to get their boots inside the ground. And the second they have the cap, they push out again and start spotting outside the choke.
Yeah, absolutely. We're taking a look at Umbralisa right now. This is a healer on the other side for Honoris right now, doing what he can to try to make the difference. And it does look like that Honoris is, again, these healers are the difference in this lobby. Umbra, Daisu, these guys are constantly safe. They're constantly full health. And I think that, again, a lot of DPS is being done, but they need to focus the heal squad down on behalf of Honoris. Crimson focusing all the wrong targets. The target acquisition is just not what you want to see. You've got to kill those healers, or they're just going to keep healing people right back up. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. IB6 in the middle of everything on his tank right here. But again, you'll notice his health bar is just not moving anywhere but down over time. Yeah, look at that. Again, finally catches a small amount of healing, but again, he is really deep right now with no one around to help him, and he is slowly going to run out of health. This is exactly what I'm trying to demonstrate for you guys, is that the healers on the side of Crimson are slacking. They're lacking right now. They are not doing their job. Here's Lady Knight right here doing what they can in order to make something happen, but throwing down the healing circle for themselves, really only keeping themselves. Credo runs next to her and says, please heal me. Lady Knight says, I can't do anything. I can't even heal myself. She goes down to, tragically, Kagura up on the high ground, staff dagger, doing what they can to try to battle back on behalf of Crimson, but with only 6.5 minutes on the clock, they have to cap again and try to get boots on the point. I think time's starting to run out, Spid.
Yeah, I mean, Crimson is doing a really bad job. They're flying in from the runes and using all their stamina. There's nobody that is holding them in the choke. There's no need to fly in from all the way up top. But again, overall, I just think Honoris, the deeper the game has gone, has just gotten better and better, while Crimson has gotten worse and worse. So, I mean, it's showing on the gameplay, showing on the positioning, it's showing on how each of the team are doing. They're not killing the healers like you're saying. The crossbow should be on the healers, especially the strong healers, to make sure they shut them down. But overall, it's just they need more practice. Crimson needs more practice, they need more experience, and Honoris is definitely coming out on top here.
Yeah, and again, the first time we've seen a crossbow bow user be at the top of the leaderboards in any match, both in T1 or the T2 tournament. So Thixie certainly showing up to represent that class, showing that just about any class can absolutely be viable in large-scale PvP if you're actually good at it. So really, really cool to see that happen right there. But I think that they're just running out of time on this. Owner's going to go for another cap on the point, but I just don't see it happening for him on this one, though he does manage to make it happen. Only 16 people on the point though, Spid.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at my POV right now, I mean, Blue, it's better that you explain this. Why is this happening? Why are they spawning up here? I don't see anything happening down on the choke. I don't see anybody stopping them. Why are they choosing to spawn up top here? It literally makes no sense to me. I mean, it is just literally losing. They have the point, they have the capture, but they're on purpose not using the better spawn point here.
Yep, just not using the lower spawn point is the difference. And again, that's why you see this huge gap in the ability to regroup here. As you see all of those members from Crimson flooding in from the top of your screen, you never want to see that from your guild when the match is close and you're contesting a cap like this. You cannot be regrouping from 2 times as far away like that. That's just not what you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate from Crimson. Hopefully, they still have 4 minutes, but they need a really strong comeback. But I do think Honoris just have really good control. They are getting the cap off, though, which is really good. Maybe they can make a play with Remedies and Guardians here. But overall, Honoris is doing a really good job. I mean, most of the kill fit is Honoris, but you still see a few Crimson getting kills. But look at the number difference, right? Yeah, they have 40 players inside, and Crimson can barely get 30, right? It's absolutely really bad, and it looks really good for Honoris.
Yeah, Fixie the Hunter has become the hunted. He thought he blew all of his damage payload, and he's like, I've got this. They're only at 10% HP. And then he just got nuked 100-0 immediately by the enemy guild members. The POV of the crossbow bow. He tried his best on that one. Came in and got absolutely Baja blasted. 3 minutes on the clock. This is really rough to watch as Crimson again leading the leaderboards for their team, but sadly just not able to come up with the win. This is the second time on Azrael we've seen players try to ego, is what I'm gonna say it. Your ego is too big. You're constantly focused on getting those damage numbers up. You're trying to get your kill numbers up. You're not focusing on the objective as well. You're not playing around your statics as well. The other guild is more focused around categorically just being smarter, playing around their statics better, and just playing as a guild better, and they just outplay you.
Yeah, I mean, overall, good performance from Honoris. They show that they're here to play. They played this better. And what I do think, though, is they are not as good as stopping the cap. Like many guilds that we've seen in EU needs to be better at stopping the cap. They need to CC, they need to coordinate it better, because this is going to be really important going into the next rounds, going deeper into the tournament. If you're not good at stopping caps, the other guild might have insane amount of advantage over you.
Look at these people flowing in, and this is another thing that Crimson is just not, they're not as good at working together as a group, as they're all flying down from point 3 up there. That's not what you want to see from your guild. Again, when you're in a heated moment like this, look at the snap. It's 29-40, 32-40. Imagine if they weren't spawning in the worst possible location, how much closer this fight actually would be. Honoris with the better strategy, the better regroups, the better statics, the better coordination, and I'm Crimson with the better all of that. Honoris Honoris with the better all of that. Crimson really struggling despite having stronger players overall, having people do more damage, having people individually outperform the other guild. They're still managing to come up with a loss. It just shows you again, the focus is on me, not team. And that's not what the kind of focus that you need to have to win a tournament like this. Under a minute left on the clock.
Yeah, like you said, there's no I in team. Right now, you can even see on the leaderboards, now Honoris has taken over, because that's what happens when you have good control, when you know what you're doing, when you're not continuously dying, you're not, watching the damage numbers. Eventually, you will get better on the leaderboard, and you will get the victory, right? So again, Crimson could do a better job. Good learning experience, good show off. They tried their best, they tried different strategies. It was just not enough, and Honoris is taking the victory royale.
Yeah, there might not be an I in team, but there certainly is a me, and that is Crimson's guild motto in this one. They did their best here, but sadly their coordination was just not quite as good as Honoris's was. Honoris gonna move on to the next round of this tournament. Good fights to both teams. Let's take a look at the leaderboards and how things finished. Again, it's Hatsu leading. That is Crimson's alliance right there. I'm not sure which alliance Flying Whales is in. You guys will have to tell me which alliance that is. I think that's actually Honoris's alliance right there. But again, leading the leaderboards right there on that corny crossbow. Spear Dagger coming in at number 2. Spear Crossbow in at number 3 on Malpia. and YPS, respectively. A great sword spear user on Matrix coming in at number 4 at top of kills is pretty cool. Engel coming in on assists, a healer from Engel and Honoris, and this is what I'm saying, the healers diffed them hard. Look at the healer leaderboard on Honoris's side. No, bro, here's the difference in the lobby. There's not a single healer that I can see. Solduri might be the only healer from Crimson that actually got onto the front page for his guild. And that, or I mean, at least for assists right here. Damage dealt looks like, what are we? No, he changed. Noams, there's no way. There's no way. It was no, is Noams a dagger wand? What? There's no shot. This EU meta is crazy. He is. Okay. Oh my gosh, this EU meta is crazy. They're all running. Everybody in EU is running tornadoes. They're running wand crossbow or wand dagger. This is absolutely nuts. Another wand dagger on Bife in at number 3 as well. That's pretty good, I'll be honest with you. Damage taken from Crimson, Demimole, and Nagatsu again owning that leaderboard like they wanted to. Here's the healing though. This is the match right here. Look at them closing out this leaderboard for healers right here. 20 million damage healed for Daisu. We were following him through a large majority of the match. Crimson's top healer came in at number 5. It's Shadow at 12 million. That's almost half of what the enemy healers were able to do. It's a healer diff, plain and simple. You just need stronger healers. Something has to be done about this. Good fight to both sides. Excellent showing right there for both guilds.
I mean, I actually just got message from Honoris and Crimson in my Discord, and they said that they were watching NA tournament yesterday, and they were like, let's change up the meta, put in some tornadoes, and put in some whatever daggers and stuff. So they took it from NA. So you know, that's why we saw an NA match in EU. But overall, big respect to everybody. Honoris came in, they played out, and Crimson and their tornadoes was not enough this time.
Yeah, sadly just not enough. And honestly, you see how well that metagame actually worked out for Crimson there, coming in with all those tornadoes. I mean, it is what it is. We'll see what happens in the next round of the tournament. I think both guilds actually showed a lot of strength there. The DPS for Crimson really showing up there, getting a lot of kills, putting the damage down, but the healers sadly coming up short. But again, the front line on the other side, the front line showing up for Crimson as well, doing their job better than Honoris' side, but the healers for Honoris were just diffed the entire enemy guild. It just didn't matter how much damage you dealt, it was always just going to be healed right back.
Yeah, I mean, again, Honoris, their healers did absolutely amazing, positioning really good. The one thing they could get ready and prepare for is doing a better CC job and have a better spawn ganking team. But aside from that, good job to Honoris, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in round 2.